Now recording to this computer. And ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin. All right, cue the intro music in just a second, as soon as I can bring up what we need. All right, well, welcome to session 5 of our new campaign, Ravenloft, Vanity's Bloodsong. Ravenloft is the D&D classic horror setting, and as such, this campaign will include themes of horror. You have been warned. That said, we like to keep things PG-13 around here, and now let's introduce our players and their characters, going in the order of Ben, Tommy, John.
Hi guys, I'm Ben. I play Morokhan. He's the monk of Hamina, the goddess of the sun. And my character is aligned neutral good, I think is probably the most accurate. Maybe leaning into chaotic good on occasion. For example, like he gets along really well with another character named Sabella. So when not long after we had rescued her from these demons and devils and such, I did what I could to take her under my wing and show her the ropes and keep her happy and such. And as is typical with Sabella, things got a little interesting.
And by take care of her, Ben means Morokhan taught Sabella, the child, to beat the crap out of people with her fists.
Hey man, if she's gonna get herself kidnapped by demons, she should have self-defense skills.
That must prove that he's neutral good. Okay then. Cool. Next.
All right, I am Tommy, and I play Odelia Almoran, the cleric of Moiris, the water goddess. And despite Odelia's best efforts, she is definitely chaotic good. The whole reason she is out on the road with the council is that living in a lawful good situation has never really worked out for her. As in a recent experience when she tried to go back on the road for her order, and was on a ship with some being the representative of the order, and didn't like that the people running the ship were valuing saving a goods ship over a people ship, and so she punched somebody right overboard, and her order decided, you know what, better for you to be a free agent, and sent her off again.
Very nice. Jordan.
I'm John. I play Thora Mikitas. He's a druid of Finhafara, and he is, if you couldn't tell by the previous performances, 100% true neutral. Which ironically makes me one of the weirdest experiences as a player to play someone who is true neutral, because a lot of people interpret that as, oh, well, I don't care. I'll go whatever way you guys are going. I try and make it so he could literally go any direction depending on the situation. So, for instance, he could veer lawful, he could veer chaotic, he could veer good, he could veer evil. And he's done some sketchy things before as a result of that. But I think my favorite example of him being true neutral is whenever in the spinoff, in the Holy Roller spinoff, whenever there was a social encounter, he would literally mediate. It didn't matter if it was an argument, if it was an agreement, anything. He would literally be like, okay, so how can we fix this? And that's my favorite thing about playing true neutral, being the diplomat.
Very nice. And I do believe you are also trained in diplomacy, are you not?
Yep.
Yes, you are, like a good half elf should be. Okay. All right. Very nice. And I am Sage of Sorcery, your humble dungeon master. And with that introduction, JT, who plays Anduriel, the vampire cleric of Nalok, the god of darkness. He runs a little bit towards the neutral evil, I believe, because he is neutral. in that he's not particularly obsessed with law or order, and he's a little bit evil. He leans toward the evil because he's not afraid to hurt people if it is required to achieve his objective. And he will be joining us probably in about a half an hour, 15 minutes, who knows, somewhere around there. And we have certainly allotted and planned for that. And with that, we will go ahead and do a brief recap. And launching the recap music in just one moment.
I'm still going to jam to it.
And there's nothing wrong with that, my friend. Sharing computer audio. All right.
I brought the glow sticks.
During our last session, the townsfolk and the divine dragon turned into vampires at midnight. The Hallowed Council fought them off and locked them into the kitchen of the inn. They discovered that the vampires were particularly vulnerable to mirrors, and so they wedged a mirror in the doorway, which the vampires could not bring themselves to approach. So vampires swarmed the tavern and forced them to flee to the safety of the town's abandoned chapel. Discovering it defiled, they endeavored to hold the vampires at bay at the very door of the chapel while desperately trying to reconsecrate the ground. And that is where we will jump back into things at them desperately trying to reconsecrate the ground. So we are on the 5th round. At the top of the 5th round, we have made 4 successful religion checks as everyone has said a prayer to attempt to reconsecrate the ground. It is the 5th round and the final round needed to consecrate the ground of the chapel. And so we will go to the top of initiative with this, and we are at the top of initiative, and it would be Anduriel's turn. So Anduriel is positioned, I believe, in the front of the doorway next to Odelia, if I am correct. Is that not right?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. And then, if I recall, also up in the front is Thora and Odelia, kind of holding everything at bay with their bursts and their blasts and their magic. Odelia had just knocked a big group of them down using her buffeting wave spell, and they fell into a heap on the floor. So there is a heap of vampires on the floor, a couple feet down, about 2 squares down from the entrance to the chapel. Now, that would have been just fine, except somebody smashed the stairs of the chapel leading up and destroyed them completely. And I believe that was Thora who did that. He successfully channeled divinity and caused an earthquake to shatter the stair, the wooden stairs, and dropped the vampires into a pit, of which 2 of them or several of them are still stuck down at the bottom, grappled by the earth and unable to get up. Some of them are on the outskirts of that. It only covers 1 square in a line. So the ones who did not fall in to that part are on the side and will still be trying to climb up. Now, it is Anduriel's turn, and something kind of disturbing happens. You're watching him, and Anduriel is poised there with a Leviathan's tooth, his action ready to stab somebody. And both of Anduriel's hands kind of drop to the floor, or they don't drop to the floor, they drop to his sides, and the Leviathan's tooth clatters to the ground, and he starts staring off straight into space, and looks like he's going into some kind of a trance. Now, I would like all of you to make a perception check, please, to see if you notice another tiny, minute detail. You are not trained. It's half your level and your wisdom modifier.
Oh my gosh,
24.
I rolled with double digits. That's such a good sign.
Ooh.
12.
All right. Morocon, you look at Anduriel and like, hey, pick up your dagger, dude. And you are pretty sure that Anduriel is looking for a piece of cheese.
Get back in the game.
It is well known.
Now
as a
is not the
cheese
time for
aficionado.
cheese. So, what does Thora get?
24.
What does Odelia get?
19.
Okay, so Odelia, you get high enough to notice that Anduriel has something flashing in his eyes, and you think you see a reflection of people, and you look out and you're like, that's not vampires. And you look out, but you don't see, it's none of you. There are people moving in his eyes, as almost all in the reflection of his eyes. Thora, you peer a little bit, closer. Maybe you're standing a little bit closer and your eyes are a little sharper. You can see in Anduriel's eyes, almost like a TV screen. There are people dancing like in a ballroom in his eyes, in the reflection of his eyes. And he's just kind of staring off into space and swaying like this. And that's all you can really see. And it is Anduriel's turn, and he loses his turn in this trance. And then it becomes the turn of Moro of the Khan.
Okay, so
Moro Khan,
we
you have
still
a
need-
mob of vampires coming up the side.
am I closest to them, or are those two closer to them than I am?
You stepped back, I believe, and they are
Okay.
a little bit. They're occupying the two squares in the doorway.
All right, well, if that is the case, then I am going to take my turn to do one last prayer to try to sanctify this little chapel here.
Alrighty, dighty.
Oh, please, new dice. Well, it's a religion check, yes.
Yes, it is.
It's a dirty 20.
Okay. All right. So, what do you say in this final prayer on round 5, the last round where you need it to
Right.
try to sanctify?
Amina, I don't know if you've noticed, but things could be better. We're a group of clerics that are just trying to follow the path that we've been given, and we've got a bunch of vampires in our way. He's really just like trying to be in the moment and trying to be like pious at the same time, and it's just not working. So, but dirty 20.
Okay, but dirty 20. So you're like one of those people in church who says the prayer and likes to tell God what's up in the prayer, like he's not omniscient. Like, Lord, I don't know if you noticed this, but
Right.
it's raining, and so Morocon throws up this prayer to me. He's like, there are vampires. I don't know if you can see them. We're in the, So you throw
We're in
up this
deep duty.
prayer, kind of give him the overview of what goes on, and then there is a sudden gust of wind that blows through the neglected chapel, and it stirs the candles that spontaneously lit on the last round, but does not extinguish them. You hear the faint echo of music as though coming from far, far away. And then the vampire's hands on the edge of the entryway begin to smoke and burst into flames as you can feel the hallowed ground begin to take effect in the chapel. And the vampires scream, and their hands burst into flames. They're forced to flee from the chapel itself, force them to flee to the safety away. So in any case, they are hissing and shrieking in protest. The mob of undead that were zerging in the entryway now begin to retreat a safe distance and wander off, looking for someone or perhaps something else on which to slake their thirst. And a very different feeling enters the chapel as the effect of the consecrated ground takes place, and you can feel the presence of the divine in the chapel again. In fact, you can also feel your connections to your deities strengthened, like your holy symbols each flare with a little bit of light. Thora, yours flares with a little flash of green light. Odelia's, yours flares with a little sparkle of water. And Morocon, the little shaft of sunlight from absolutely nowhere above you just kind of reflects, and your holy symbol on your chest just glitters briefly as you feel the full return of your holy powers that were suppressed previously. And the vampires move on, and you are left in this dilapidated chapel with the hole in the center, with a quiet sense of reverence in flickering candlelight, which kind of shows off just how bashed up this chapel is, that you're looking at. It might have looked very nice once. You can see the big hole in the center of the chapel that collapsed right into the basement, where the floor collapsed into the basement. Along the sides are alcoves where there were musical instruments, possibly positioned well. Thora played a couple notes on a trumpet, I believe, or something like that, when he said his prayer. And there are other musical instruments that are there. There's a flute, and there's a lute and a lyre and a drum of some kind. The drum is bashed in, and it couldn't be used at this point for anything but perhaps one of our children whacking on it to make noise incessantly. And you are left in the stillness of the chapel. And what are your characters' reactions?
Yeah, Moroccon's gonna take a huge breath and kind of half collapse down onto the floor to take a breather.
Cordelia is immediately checking on Handsome Barrett and
Okay.
everything else.
Handsome Barrett is ducked kind of behind one of the pews, just shaking in absolute terror, and looks up at you and he goes, "Oh, are they gone?"
I think we're all right now, but we'll still be quiet, all right?
Okay. And he ducks back behind the pew.
Good boy, good boy.
And he's not far. He's like in the pew at the very end of the chapel, like doesn't want to be far, and is tucked just behind there, trying not to be seen, not to be heard, or anything like that. What's Thora's reaction?
Please go ahead. Sorry. Now once she's all right, knows he's all right, she's gonna go up to Anduriel and try to figure out what is happening up in there.
Okay. Anduriel is still staring off into space. He has a kind of bewildered expression on his face. And now that you have gotten closer, Odelia, you can make another perception check to see if you spot what Thora saw.
Oh, that's an 8.
Odelia, you look off into the distance, and you know he's looking for cheese. You're sure of it. Probably a nice Gouda.
Nope, you're right, Anduriel. Definitely cheese.
Yeah, but he's like, he's definitely out of it. Leviathan's tooth is still on the floor.
I can't believe it. Believe.
Did you?
Sorry, that wasn't
You
Judah.
cheddar believe it. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Womp womp.
Okay.
Wah, wah.
All right. Now, as if you had not made enough of them, I need all of you to make one more perception check.
Oh, jeez.
14.
Okay. A what?
Ooh.
Okay. Morocon, you're looking at the ceiling and you're like, oh, why can't we get sunlight in here? There's enough holes in the ceiling. I better like.
Perhaps because it's dark outside.
I don't know. He hasn't figured that out yet.
Don't worry, I got your back, buddy.
Listen,
30.
It's been a rough night.
Okay.
Oh.
Odelia, you hear skittering in the chapel, and you look over, and it's not coming from Handsome Barrett. So Barrett is still, ducked behind there. You know where he is, and it comes skittering from far off into the distance. And you look out, but you don't see anything. Thora, you catch 2 young girls, and they are trying to hide behind a pew. And when Odelia looks back, they duck down. But you, my friend, can see them just a little too well.
Eagle eyes.
Caw, caw.
Hold on. Neutral. Hello. You may have ducked behind something in time for my friend Odelia, but I see the two of you there. It's safe. You can come out.
Okay, you hear all of you hear an audible, panicked gasp. Something like,
Odelia, they're children. I'm not good with children.
looking, you rolled a 30. They're young, but they're not young children. One of them looks like she's probably 20, but the other one looks like she's maybe 15, maybe 14, 13. She's definitely preteen.
Children.
Okay.
For him.
Odelia is going to go find them. She's going to, in her sweetest, most motherly voice, say, it's all right. We're friends. We're here to help protect you from these evil creatures. Come out. Tell us what's happening.
Okay, so both of their heads pop up and out, and the first thing that you notice is that they're both gorgeous. I mean, they're beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful, like both of them. But they're dressed in rags. Their clothes, they're both wearing these tattered red dresses that look like at one time they might have been gowns, but they're in tatters, and they look thin and strong, like they've done hard labor. They've got like, kind of thick muscle, like they've had to, put their shoulder to the wheel or the plow or something like that. But that being said, they don't look like they've eaten enough, probably, and they're kind of and they cling to each other as they stare, and one of them looks out and says, are they gone?
Yes, this is a safe place now.
We knew this was a safe place. That's why we came here. Even though our parents said that we didn't need to come to the chapel because the Countess would pray for us, so we didn't have to pray. But we came here anyway. We came here at night so that we didn't have to fall asleep and have the bad dreams.
Well, tell us what's happening in this town. Who are all these monsters out here, and why aren't you with them?
Okay. The older one says, those aren't monsters. Those are our people.
Experience would tell me otherwise, but sure. Oricon will pick up Andoriel's dagger, and he'll pick up Andoriel and like throw him over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and just
okay.
Because he's clearly not out of it. So
a sure sign that Andoriel's in a trance. He puts up absolutely no resistance whatsoever.
Ha ha!
Not faithful. Check.
I got you, buddy.
Yeah, you could. This is the perfect opportunity for you to give him a good snuggle. Give him if you wanted to. Everybody, love on Andoriel. Can't resist you now, with consent. Sorry. Anyway, so that being said, you pick him up and you just drag him with you.
Yeah, I just threw him over my shoulder, and the other hand just has his dagger. So
okay, all right. So you pick up the Leviathan's tooth. And walk down. As you walk down further deeper into the chapel, the older of the girls goes, "Oh, be careful! The floor caved in quite some time ago. Covered in spider webs too. It's really not safe down there. We try to stay up here on this part of the chapel."
Can we see down into the hole? If we?
Oh yeah,
Like, can we see the bottom floor?
You can see straight down to the bottom floor. There's a mess down there. It is a mess of cobwebs and broken pews that collapsed down there into a pile, and some brass instruments. And there looks like the remains of a harpsichord down there that has just been broken beyond repair. But that would be about it. You cannot see the outskirts of the hole, the area surrounding it, but you can see, I mean, because of the candlelight that's lit all over the floor, the candelabra that used to be on a chandelier, a candle chandelier, has fallen down in front of the stage and is almost tipping in to the hole in the center. But even the candles on that candelabra have lit, and they're providing enough illumination around for you to see the entire chapel. At one time, it must have been very beautiful, and not only was beautiful, but particular care was taken in the artisanship and crafting. As you look around, you can see that the stones on the side of the chapel, there are various places that have had scenes carved into the stone, kind of like, you remember when you saw Thor or Captain America, where the cube was being kept and the wall was a carved kind of scene. You see those carved into the side of the walls. There are people singing, there are angels with trumpets, just scenes of people and music, and there are roses that have also been carved into the side of the chapel, and the ends of the pews have also been carved into some kind of a floral arrangement. More than just a simple house of worship, this place was obviously once dedicated to beautiful things of all kinds. So you're just kind of looking around as you move a little bit deeper, and the girls, they are still clinging to each other, and they seem calm, but as you approach, they can't help themselves. They're both kind of nervously staring at you like they're looking, expecting you to stab them. And the older one says, how did you drive them off? They've never come in here before. They just kind of naturally, I think, knew to avoid the chapel. I don't know why. Nobody's worshipped here for over a century, as far as I know, maybe longer.
We've re-sanctified the grounds. They can't come back.
We are priests. This chapel had been defiled.
They look confused.
We sanctified it.
What do you mean you're priests? Port Revalria doesn't have any priests. Desmare doesn't have any priests.
We just came today.
Oh, you're strangers?
You mean to tell me you've never seen me before?
Well, I mean, she looks at you, Morocon, like, and she looks and kind of like, I've seen pictures like you in books.
I give a little chuckle. It's all right.
Okay.
And don't worry. This little puppy here, he's not gonna. I slap him on the butt. He's like, he won't harm you. Okay. It's all good.
So we'd like to welcome JT Jin with Jin. No,
yes.
We'd like to welcome JT in, just as his character is being patted on the bottom by Morocon. Which
Anduriel summoned JT, like, come and save me.
You cannot let this happen.
Yeah, he's being patted on the bottom. You are currently hung over Morocon's shoulder like a sack of potato.
Okay, I'd like to use a daily immediately.
You would, except you're no longer all there, and we will get to you in a minute, Anduriel.
All right,
but
fair enough.
Before then, so we have these two girls, and one of them, she says, "Well, I've seen pictures like you in books. You're a dragon child, right?"
Indeed.
And she says, "Oh, my name's Jerica, and this is my sister Mika, Jerica Duranya, and Mika Duranya. We've been hiding here for a long time. For a long time."
How long? Just at night, or all the time?
And she says, "Well, we come here at night. We come here every night. because we don't want to have the bad dreams like we used to. But we come here every night, and we hide here during the day sometimes too. We go out when we can get food. Do you guys have any food with you?
That's an excellent question. Do we have anything?
You didn't really run upstairs to grab any of your belongings that you might have brought with you. So
Not
one
if we have
assumes
handsome Barrett.
if you do, you do have
He's
handsome
around.
Barrett.
We don't have food. Yeah.
And Odelia has
He's a
made
bit
sure he's
stringy.
well fed. Like,
I was just gonna say, so I'm gonna go over to Handsome Barrett and kneel down by him and say, Barrett, do you have any bread in your pockets that you could share with these nice ladies?
Odelia,
I
make an insight check, please.
I promise there'll be more food tomorrow, and isn't it nice when we can share? He's definitely not gonna go for it.
It's like-
But oh, come on. Oh, it almost was a 20, but it's a 2 instead. So that's an 8.
Well, let's see. Okay.
Natural 20.
No, I rolled a
Why?
6. Yeah, I rolled a 6, and Barrett has a total of +1. So
Nice.
There we go.
at first,
Yes.
Odelia, you look at him, and he's like, I don't have any food. But then his hand darts to his pocket, and you're like, oh. And then he looks at you like,
Wouldn't it be nice for us to share with people who have less than us?
well, no.
Did you appreciate the very fast turn? This boy never watched Barney.
It's not-
Not once.
No, he goes, no. If I give it to them, I won't have any later.
Oh, I promise we'll find more sweets tomorrow, all right?
Okay. Well, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out some of the treat that you bought him when you went to the bakery earlier that day. He kept just a little bit of that treat in his pocket, and he hands it to you, and he looks really guilty, and he goes, you promise we'll eat again?
I promise.
Okay.
Moiras always blesses us when we share with others.
Okay. And for a minute there, he says, can you show me how to do that wave thing that you did at the door?
Well, it takes a lot of practice, but I'd be happy to start you on the path.
I've never seen anybody but Mrs. Spindlecut do what you guys did in the doorway. I want to learn how to do that. I want to be a cleric. Is that what you are? Are you a cleric, or are you a sorcerer?
Oh, we're definitely cleric.
Okay. He says, I want to
And
be a
that's
cleric.
all.
I choked on spit.
Okay.
It's a noble path. We'd be delighted to have you as an honorary member of the Hallowed Council.
Or he's like,
But you have to be willing to share with people who have less than you.
okay, I'll share. If we're going to eat again, then I can share. And he hands over his treat. So,
Good job.
all right, what do you do with it?
I take it and I stand not non-threateningly, but just hands out to the girls and say,
Okay.
we don't have very much, but we like to share what we have.
Okay, so Jerica looks at it and she nods and she takes it from you. And the little girl next to her, the 12-year-old little girl, Mika, she looks up like she wants to reach for it, but she looks up to Jerica for like permission. And finally Jerica nods and lets her take it, and she takes it and she just gobbles it up. I mean, she just devours it. I would like you to make an insight check, Odelia, if you would, please.
That's 16.
She doesn't like it.
Hmm.
Like she gobbles it up, like she eats it, but this sweet bread that she's gobbling up, she's like, oh, this is so yummy. Yum. I wish there was more. Like, but she's like she looks like she's not trying to be mean or anything, but she does, she does wolf it down pretty quickly, but ew. Anyway.
She's the younger one or the older one?
She's the younger one. Her name is Mika Duranya.
Does the
Perhaps
older
because
one
it was in Handsome Barrett's pocket the whole time.
pocket pastries?
Yeah.
They've been in my pocket. They're all soft and warm.
They're all so warm.
Yeah.
And Linty.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Jerica looks up and she says, so you're all priests. And have you met the Baroness yet? Does she know you're here?
I dare say I doubt it.
And she says, I mean, you can't meet her right now. I'm sure she's out there with everybody else. I'm sure she's probably a vampire too.
Does the Baroness turn into a vampire like the rest?
I'm sure she does. I've never seen her turn into a vampire, but everybody turns into a vampire. At least,
Why?
I don't know. Because that's what happens. That's the way it's always been. I
Really?
think she looks down to her little sister and she says, I think that maybe we used to do it too when we had the bad dreams. But we came to the chapel after our parents died because we didn't want to have the bad dreams anymore. And I know we're not supposed to. Mama said we don't need to pray. She said the Countess prays for us. She's our mediator or something. And so the Countess blesses us. I think I saw her once. She came to the village and she healed some little girl who had a bad leg, and she healed her. And after she healed her, she could run. It was a miracle. The Countess does miracles, but we came here anyway because we haven't seen her in a long time.
Out of curiosity, is anyone hurt?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I
I'm
am.
going for kind of as she's saying that, Thora mutters a word and heals up Morocon with a healing word. I just want to see their reaction.
When they react to it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
spend a healing surge, and do I roll the 3d6?
Yeah, it's your power.
Okay. I thought so, but I wanted to be fair.
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay.
That's an additional 11.
Oh, dude. That brings me up to full hit points.
Very nice.
Happy
5s and a
day.
1. This one's going to jail.
Okay.
Thank you, Thora.
Very nice. You can all spend as many surges out of combat as you want to. But when you do
Really?
use the healing word, it does that extra, and you don't have to spend as many surges, which is nice.
True.
Because you can run out. So in any case, you can all come back up to full with as many surges as it takes to get you there, and you can use healing word if you need to. So Thora, you said you want to gauge their reaction.
Yes.
Make an insight check, please.
Oh, thanks. I'm good at those. With a 926.
Okay.
I have like 2 things I'm stellar at. One is insight and one is perception.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm glad one of us is.
Their eyes, Thora,
Well,
go kind of wide as they look at you as you heal. The older one looks at you and it's just kind of like, and she says, wow, I nobody in town has power like that except Madame Desteria. Are you a Vistani seer, or are you a cleric too?
Oh, I'm a cleric as well.
Oh, well, maybe Madame Desteria is a cleric too. She's the only one who I know in town who can do anything like that.
and he will like approach not at an uncomfortable distance, but he'll stoop. He won't bend at the knee. He just kind of bends at the waist.
Uh-huh.
Like, those terrible parents.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna go, and where does she live?
Madame Dysteria. He says, let me just check the town map here. Jerica says to you, Madame Dysteria, she has a tent right across from the chapel. It's right, and she points to the hole where the doors were. Which one of you destroyed the doors? It wasn't Thora.
That was JT with the Leviathan's tooth.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was
Right.
JT that
Well, I
destroyed
broke them. He shattered them. with
Yeah.
the
I
Leviathan's
broke
tooth.
the stairs.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking which of my beloved Hallowed
So
Council members
who broke
Van-
what?
who vandalized what part of the church. Sorry. Okay.
It was
All
a
the
group effort.
name.
Can't have nice things.
Yeah, this is why. Well, she points across the park that you guys ran across to get here, and points to a cluster of houses and says, well, she has a tent, a big expensive tent over there. Some say she tells people's fortunes, but she won't do it for everybody. I don't know if she'll do it for you, but I know she knows magic too. She knows she can. I don't know if she can heal like the Countess can and do miracles, but they say she can see into the future. We've always been too scared to go in there. You can almost see it, and she points to the place where the doors were now. Do you think maybe you guys could put the doors back together so that we can keep hiding here when we need to?
I guess we're gonna have to.
Okay, Thora, I would also like to point out to you, Jerica looks amazed at the power that you just evidenced to heal Morokhan's wounds, right? The blood and the cut goes, and the blood vanishes, and nothing but healthy golden scales are left on a rippling, bicep of, Morokhan's. He's huge. It's just a beautiful specimen of manly, all that goodness. And
They finish healing, and they
little peck shuffle thing. And anyway, but Thora, you noticed that when you healed the little girl, not Jerica, but the younger one, who's Mika, she looked irritated. Like you, I don't know, like you accidentally spit and it hit her drink or something.
Okay. Being the very blunt and kind of like like unconsciously rude person that he is, he's going to say, "Did I do something wrong?"
To the little girl.
You seem irritated. Yeah.
Oh, she looks. She goes, "Oh no, I'm." And then I'm not. And then she clings to her sister and kind of just hides her face behind her sister.
It's okay. I have trouble with people. It just reminded me of the last time Sister Fadaver saw a man with short pants on.
Okay. All right. Jerica says,
Thank you.
Who's
Thank
Sister
you.
Fadaver?
It's best you don't know.
Perhaps, but she's out of the. I'm trying to remember how many are on the Hallowed Council all of a sudden. 8?
At this point, there's probably like 10.
10. Out of the 10 of our organization, she's the one who's the most accomplished of the healing. At healing, I can't word.
Oh, all right. Jerica goes, oh, well, we were gonna go to sleep. We don't have a lot of blankets, but we put some pillows in the corner, and we have some scraps of cloth. It's not as comfy as a bed, but we'll share it if you guys promise to stay nearby. Will you stay near us?
Well, I could
Thor
really
will
use
nod.
a nap, so I've burned a lot of dailies. I could really use a long rest.
Same.
Okay.
Thor will keep watch first, but he's also gonna unfasten his like buggy cloak that Ben's design is fucking friggin' super cool.
Yeah.
And he's just going to kind of like drape it for the kids to use
Okay.
in like a moment of empathy.
All right. So the kids take you over to the left side of the chapel, to the left of the stage, far enough away that you're almost next to one of those alcoves on the side with the instrument. And they have collected kind of a ramshackle collection of pillows and blankets and sheets. And there's also clothes down there, like that they've nicked from somewhere. There's like shirts and some worn out old dresses that are too, they've got too many holes in them to wear. And she lays them down, or she says, you guys can pick where you want to lie down first, and then we'll lie down. I mean, you guys go ahead. And
Well,
her little sister just nods. You guys pick.
Well, our semi-dead friend here doesn't really need any of that stuff, and he'll just flop them onto a pew.
Okay. All right.
Audible
somewhere,
funk as something hits hard.
Right.
yeah, somewhere Anduriel thunk. Ow! Like, all right. So you drop Anduriel down like a sack of potatoes on a patch of ground.
Ooh.
Oh no, he's on a pew.
Oh, you're gonna put him on a pew. Okay.
Yeah, I laid him down on a pew.
All right. So you lay him
I'm
down.
not going to be so rude as to lay him on the floor.
Correct.
I'll
So
put him
the
on a
older
pew.
of the girls, Jerica, looks at him and goes, "Is he breathing? I don't think he's breathing."
Sort
Yeah,
of.
he does that.
He does not breathing?
He's really good at that.
Well, can't you cleric him and help him breathe? I mean, isn't that
Believe me, I've tried.
isn't all right? So she's like, is he gonna die? Is he dead?
Oh, no.
Technically,
He's
Uh,
fine. This is what
Odelia,
he's like
do you
most
hop
of
in
the
and say
time.
anything?
Odelia is very concerned about Anduriel and she just kind of
Good.
like steps in between him and the little girls and says, I'm sure he just needs some good sleep like the rest of us do. Why don't you show us where you like to bunk down?
yes,
Okay.
he needs sleep, and I go over and I close his eyes.
Okay.
Flower on chest, hands
Go to
across
sleep, go to
chest.
sleep, go to sleep.
Right.
All right. You close his eyes and they go, boing.
Of course. Thora, before we bed down for the night, can you help me? It's your druidy. Can you help me build some doors?
Sure.
Even if we have to like break apart some pews or something and just try to like put some doors back together before we bed down.
Well, there is certainly enough wood there that you guys could easily barricade or create a little block of broken pews and what. So you guys can go ahead and do that. And then everybody's going to bed down and take a long rest.
Yeah.
I think so. Unless we need to like take turns like taking watch.
Odelia is going to check Anduriel over and see if does he have any wounds? Is there any visible
Okay.
reason for this trance?
Make a heal check. Well, or do you want to check and see? Well, make an Arcana check or a heal check, either one.
27
Ooh,
Arcana.
okay. All right. So
Dang.
you cast detect magic on him, Odelia, with your Arcana check. And so you lay your hands out, grab your holy symbol, and whisper the words to the detect magic spell. And Anduriel lights up slightly with an aura of enchantment magic. And as we all know, enchantment magic, or at least as Odelia knows, is enchantment magic is magic that alters the mind or alters some quality about a person or an object, right? So some kind of enchantment has taken him over. You are reasonably sure from the aura that you're reading that it might be the dream spell. You've heard of the dream spell. It's a ritual magic spell that it's a 5th level magic spell for 5e people, or I think, where it was 5th level in 3rd and 2nd edition. but it allows you to communicate with someone in their dreams. But the thing is, to use it, the person has to be sleeping already. So if somebody is using the dream spell, then they're using a variant of it that's a higher level. So whoever casts the spell is casting spells higher than 5th level. I mean, 6th, 7th level spell that it would take to pull something off like this. It's really potent magic. Certainly it's beyond what any of us can do yet in the Hallowed Council. Even probably Aelin would not be able to pull off something like this yet, and she's got quite a few tricks like that up her sleeve. So
would Odelia know if it's going to do him any harm to keep communicated with like that?
There is a version of the spell called Nightmare. It's the opposite, or the inverse of the dream spell. Nightmare does damage because you torment someone in their sleep, but the dream spell is only for communication. So no, what he's been affected with is not going to hurt him at all.
Okay. So I think she would just tell, when they're done barricading, I think she would just tell Thora and Murakon that I think we just have to let it run its course. I think somebody's talking to him. Somebody really powerful.
Talking to him now.
In some kind of dream, I guess. It's nothing I can do.
Yeah, me either.
I can't do anything about that.
I think we just have to hope he snaps out of it later.
I poke him.
He's cold.
He's like, no touchy.
As per usual.
Stop it. 5 more minutes.
So, all right,
Sticking
now
his hand in the shaving cream and
tickle him with a feather, see if he's like, okay. Okay, well, this is probably kinder than what the butler would have done to him. So let's go ahead and switch gears now, if we can, Anduriel. We will go ahead and switch things up just
What's
a little
happening
bit.
in Dream World? I'm not getting Freddy Krueger to dinner, am I? Like,
Careful what you wish for. Oh, poor baby Johnny Depp.
All right, Anduriel.
yes.
Anduriel, my friend. So here's what happens to you. Anduriel, you are standing in the middle of a big, spacious ballroom with a black and white checkered floor, and everybody is dressed in fine gowns and beautiful suits, beautiful tailored suits with long coattails, and they're all dancing a very specific dance. Make a knowledge history check and see if you can identify it.
History, you say?
History, I say.
25, says I.
Okay, Anduriel, they are dancing the Prastonata, which is a classic Vistani dance. And they are all dancing the Prastonata. It's kind of a waltz version of it. It's usually danced around the fire, but they've altered it for, some kind of a ball affair. And everybody around you is dancing, and you suddenly become conscious of the fact that you're not dancing and that you don't have a partner, and you get embarrassed. And people are dancing around you and looking at you like, dude, what are you doing on the dance floor?
Well, I'm trying to decide if Dream Anduriel is the same as regular Anduriel.
If you're asking me if Dream Anduriel is aware of what he just left,
right.
You can remember that you just left somewhere and you kind of want to go back, but you can't remember where, and you feel like you should be dancing.
Okay. I suppose he's gonna have to try and find a partner or get off the dance floor.
Okay.
Um,
So Andrea, you're like, you look around like, and you look down, and you're wearing a beautiful red velvet suit, and it's with a long tailored tails on it, and a red button, and what and red buttons and beautiful thing like that, and a white shirt with kind of like a fancy tuft in the front and a bow tie. And you look at it and it occurs to you, you don't remember putting it on. In fact, you don't remember owning a garment like this either.
what in the name of shadow is going on here?
So you start looking around for a partner. You look at your hands, you're wearing white gloves on your hand too, fine white gloves made of some kind of silk. And all of a sudden a woman steps up and she goes, quick, just take my hand.
He seems a little discombobulated, so he's actually just gonna do it.
Okay. So you take her hand and you look up at her, and she's wearing a beautiful red gown with it's got Tommy, you're gonna have to help me here. it wraps around the shoulders. It's not an over the shoulder, it's around the side of the shoulder. I don't know what that cut of dress is called. Help.
Fancy.
It's fancy. Okay. Thanks,
Cornelia's not the right person to ask.
Okay.
Fancy dresses either.
It's low cut so that you can, see she has an ample bosom, but it's not indecently cut. And her hair is piled up into, a bunch of flaming red ringlets. It's a beautiful auburn in places and fiery in another. And she looks at you and she says, little awkward, wasn't it?
I suppose it was, but I don't know why.
And she says, well, I mean, you're new here, aren't you?
I think I am. Yeah, I guess.
And she says, may I have the pleasure of your name?
Where is here?
We are at... All right, he looks at you, he's like, we are at the winter ball.
Winter ball where?
We are here at the winter ball. Are you ill?
I don't know. I might be. I don't know. I don't recognize any of this. I don't know any of these people. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, well, she says, what is going on right now is we are dancing.
I know, and that in and of itself is a little strange for me. I don't like the dancing.
And she looks at you and she says, well, if we are going to share the dance floor, we should certainly know one another's names, no?
Sure. What is your name?
Arena.
Arena. Okay.
And
he
yours?
Considers telling her his name is Lachlan for a second, but then he decides to say, my name is Andorio.
Ah, Andorio. And she says, do you often come to these dances?
I have never, not that I know of. I don't believe, no, this doesn't look familiar at all.
And she, as you take it, she, spins out from you briefly and flings out her arm, and you're all of a sudden taken by her gracefulness. She feels as light as a feather in your arms, and somehow while you're dancing, every move she makes seems to make the dance easier for you. She's the perfect dance partner, and she's only making you feel more comfortable. In fact, you think that other people are starting to look at you both because you're dancing so well.
All right. Well, this isn't so bad.
She says, me, I love to dance. Absolutely love to. May I ask you a personal question?
Sure, fire away.
You are a vampire that hunts other vampires, no?
How do you know that?
And she says, well, you do not make a great secret of it, do you?
I suppose I don't, but it's not common knowledge, generally speaking, unless you're in the business, as they say.
She says, she puts her hand on your chest as you're dancing, and she says, well, I can tell when I am dancing with someone who has no heartbeat. Usually when I dance with someone, I can feel their heart pressed up against mine. And you, well, let us say that it seems that many years have passed since your heart was dancing.
Not as many as you might think, actually.
So, why do you do it? You are a vampire that hunts other vampires, no?
I hunt the undead, be it vampire, be it any other undead creature that needs to be put down. That is my job. I serve Naylock, and it is his bidding.
Ah, you are religious then.
I am a cleric of Naylock, yes.
Fascinating. And do you enjoy the feeding?
Feeding is... Actually, you know what? If I'm being honest with you, I do. It's just like eating, isn't it? Do you enjoy eating?
Oh, I do. I enjoy all the physical pleasures, she says. And she brushes up against your leg as you guys move, and she kind of winks at you mischievously.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
And she says, well then, you like the feeding. Do you not hate yourself?
No, I don't hate myself. There are quite a few people I do hate, but myself, I can't number among them.
But then why do you do it? Do you not find yourself to be a bit of a hypocrite, the undead who hunts other undead?
Is it any different than a living person who, for whatever reason, goes to war and is forced to kill other living people? Are they two hypocrites? Or when you get into an argument with someone you disagree with because of your opinion? I know it's not physical violence, but the same principle applies. It's not
Okay, so you
hypocrite.
spin her around, and then you're holding her with your arms around her, and she looks back at you behind her, and she gives a merry little laugh that sounds like the ringing of bells, and you can't help when you listen to it you almost want to giggle. It's so happy. It's like Christmas when she laughs. And she says, oh, she says, but then again, when we kill each other in war, we don't eat the other soldiers often, do we?
I've been around a very long time and I've seen a lot of things. So generally speaking, no, you don't. But you are eating living creatures, are you not? The spread on that feast table over there, I see many animals that used to be living and breathing. You've no problem ingesting them, do you?
Well, I suppose it depends on who or what you determine to be an animal, no?
All I know is I don't kill the things that I eat.
You do not.
I
That
do not.
is very noble of you. Does it not require great self-control? Are you a man of great self-control then, Anduriel?
I have enough control for that, yes.
So then, if I was to ask for your help, you'd help me, and I would not have to worry about you feeding on me.
That depends on the nature of the help. A plus B doesn't equal W, does it? I would need to know what the help is. Oh, what in the world is that, Jonathan?
I brought my staff.
Oh, very nice. I thought you were suggesting he beat her with a stick or something like.
So Thora's like,
Thora sends him a dream shillelagh to start beating her with. That's
Do it.
okay. I mean,
Okay.
this conversation's over.
All right. The dance isn't going that badly. Okay. She says, well, like many people on this accursed island, I am a prisoner. Would you rescue me, Anduriel, hunter of the dead?
So does he now kind of remember that he's on an island with vampire people, and is it coming back to him, or is he still sort of like fuzzy on all that?
You are still fuzzy, but you do remember getting off the ship onto the island of Desmare.
Okay. As a cleric and a member of the Hallowed Council, I suppose it's my duty to assist those in need. What do you need?
Okay. She looks over her shoulder, and this fearful look comes into her eyes. And she says, "Oh no, she is coming. Quickly, we must move." And she steers you towards the other end of the dance floor, almost out of the flow of the dance. And she says, You will help me then when we find each other again, yes?
If I find you again, I suppose I'll try. Where am I going? Where are we going? What is
She says, "Until we meet again." And then she looks up at you and she goes running down the hallway, off the dance floor and down the hall of this enormous, what looks to be some kind of stone structure, a castle, a keep, a fort, who knows what it is. But she goes running down the hall, and the edges of the dance floor begin to get fuzzy to you, and then you feel somebody swat you on the bottom several times.
Oh, good grief. Well, he's initially thinking like, this is all drama that's probably better for the bar, not me. This is very strange. This running away when we meet again. So he's kind of trying to gather his thoughts, and then he feels his butt getting swatted, and he's probably going to try and grab the hand that is accosting his bottom.
Okay. Nobody is behind you, and you become aware of the fact that everybody on the dance floor has stopped now, and they're staring at you.
Swiggity swoogity, no touching that booty.
That's right.
They're staring. They're staring at me.
But nobody's behind you. Nobody could have touched you.
Is my back to a wall? Is my back to a...
No, you're in the middle of the
hallway?
dance floor again.
Oh, middle of the dance floor. Okay, yeah.
And the edges of the dance floor are starting to look like fog or mist. And everybody on the dance floor has stopped, and they're all staring at you. And they all have these judgmental expressions on their face, like you've committed some kind of social faux pas. And they're all
punch bowl.
They're all looking at you like you ruined the party or something.
And Ariel's gonna roll his eyes, turn his back on them, and start walking away.
Okay. So Anduriel, you roll your eyes and start walking away, and a bunch of the people on the dance floor, they close off the gaps so that you can't get by, and they block your path.
His hand's gonna go automatically for the Leviathan's tooth.
You have no weapons.
That is not a comforting feeling for Anduriel.
Well, you do carry your own weapons.
Yeah, but he likes the Leviathan's tooth could make a nice little path. Through
Well,
the
it would
book.
certainly make an impression on a dance floor.
So he's just going to try and walk through the people, find gaps where he can, and see if they'll move for him.
All right, so this crowd of people got in your way, and you just move the other way, and you start moving through the path, and other people crowd around and block your path. And you turn around, and the gathering begins to close in on you, and everybody has just kind of blocked your way, and you're enclosed in a circle, and they're all staring at you.
Okay.
And then the back
It's a
of your
breakdance
head
circle.
thunks into something solid like wood.
Ow.
And
like I feel it, but am I still staying in the dance floor?
you are, but something wooden or heavy hits the back of your head and your back.
Okay, back to reality. Snap back to reality.
Not yet. Everybody's still staring at you, and they've enclosed you in a circle.
Oh, there goes gravity. Okay, so then he's gonna try and channel divinity now. He's like, all right, it's go time. Naylock, give me power to smite my foes. And fangs out, it's go time. He's gonna start trying to tear into these people.
All right, Andrea, make a religion check if you would, please.
16 plus 24.
Okay. Anduriel, the shadows around you all crawl across the floor and they come up in front of you and they form kind of like, I guess you would say a lattice or some kind of a wall as you channel divinity. And they come up around you and nobody can seem to get near you. And their hands are kind of like reaching through like the holes in the lattice, but they can't get near you. And that's when you see their faces turn like a ghastly gray color and fangs lengthen from their mouths. And they look at you and they hiss at you, hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite. And they whisper it, and it's being whispered all around you, but your holy symbol pulses with darkness and it starts pushing them outward, almost like pushing them away from you. And then you are left in kind of like a spotlight, just of a light there, and they're pushed out, and then mist kind of overtakes you, and you're gone. Or at least at that point, we will switch. So everybody is taking a long rest, and we are still sitting there in the chapel. Anduriel is making some weird noises in his sleep, but he's definitely sleeping now. The rest of you have bedded down for the night, and you all just found a spot and clunked down, and you're all kind of trying to drift off to sleep here in the chapel. And Morokhan, the older of the two, moves over and tries to spoon you.
Sorry.
Am I aware of this, or do I need to make a
well,
perception check?
It's kind of obvious that she is making this attempt.
Okay, well, Morokhan lets it happen, but then as she nestles in, I'll try to whisper into her ear and just say, "You don't need anyone else's permission to pray. You can pray anytime you want."
All right, she leans forward and she says, "Well, the Countess says that nobody needs to pray anymore, that she says all the prayers that anybody would ever need for us. That's what we've been told our whole lives, but it's not really prayer that I'm interested in right now."
Yeah, I noticed. That's right at the moment doesn't seem like a great time. As I look around and I see all the other members of the Divine Council like surrounding us.
And she
I don't
says,
mind being a blanket, but at the moment, now is not a great time.
well, she says, well, I'm not suggesting anything untoward. I mean, we are in a church, aren't we?
Second marriage.
If it's all the same to you, I am quite tired.
She says, that's fine, but can I just snuggle up against you?
Sure, I'm hotter than anyone else you're ever going to meet.
Okay.
Lindor.
All right. So you go snuggle up against her, and Okay, so anyway, you go snuggling up, let her, and she just kind of curls up against you, Moral Con. And I would like you, if you would please, to make a perception check.
Oh man, come on. Ooh, that's a good one. That's an 18.
Okay, that is an 18 is fantastic. Unfortunately, I rolled a 19 on the die, Moral Con, which is a 29 total.
Oh, of course.
You are unaware of what happens when she just kind of nuzzles into you and wraps her arm around you, and her legs lengthen into spider-like appendages, and she attempts to sink them into your back.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
Nasty.
Ew.
Hmm.
And ladies and gentlemen,
How much damage do I take?
it would be initiative. Let us see, Moral Con, if she hits you.
Have we taken our long rest yet?
No, you have not, my friend.
Of
No.
course. Hold
Alright.
I
on.
mean,
But at least I get my encounter.
All right, I only rolled a 6, which makes that a 22 versus AC. Does that 22 versus AC hit you, Moral Con?
It does not.
Okay, so Moral Con, she grows these enormous, her arms morph into these enormous spider limbs, and she tries to turn them back around and pierce your back, but you catch sight of the side of her arm, and it's furry with like spider barbs and appendages, and you're like, ah! And so you grab the spider legs that she has behind her, and she looks at you and smiles at you, and she says, "Oh, come on, lover, give us a kiss." And her face grows multiple fangs, and multiple eyes grow on her forehead as she takes this spider form. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the surprise round. Moral Con, you were lucky enough to not get hit. It is initiative.
This is not how I envisioned this night going.
Oh, this doesn't happen very often. 23.
23, Thora.
25.
25, Moral the Con.
20 for me.
23, also Odelia.
20.
Oh, 20, Odelia. And Uriel.
19.
19 on the die. And Uriel. And they got a 14 on the die, which gives them a 24.
Oof.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the surprise round is now over. You are all awakened by her shrieking, "Give us a kiss," at Morocon. And what you look over and you see absolutely terrifies you. Jerica has morphed into some kind of terrible half-human, half-spider-looking creature. And if you have knowledge nature, you may make a nature check now to determine what these critters might be.
25.
Ooh, 25. Okay, Thora. You've heard of this kind of a monster. It's a spider-like monster called a red widow. And what they are they're giant, monstrous spiders that can take the form of human girls to lure their prey closer. And Morocon is snuggled up right against one of them right now. And that is where we find ourselves at the moment. I am going to go ahead and open up the chapel, which will be magical. Gonna move this over yonder, and then I'm gonna share the screen with all y'all.
I'm glad I ended up going to grab this then.
Wasn't a bad idea. All right.
Props.
Are we
boys.
ready to share the screen? Yes, we are. We're going to go to advanced. We're going to go to basic. We're going to go to screen number 2. We're going to go to share sound also. And we are sharing. Okay. Is everybody looking at the music or are they looking at the chapel?
Chapel for
Chapel.
me.
Okay.
Chapel.
Good. Then I definitely shared the right screen. All right. Let us position everyone where they are on the side here, starting with Snackocon. Snackocon.
Yes, I am a tasty snack.
Yeah, you're about to be real tasty.
Okay. Anduriel, you wake up and you are on a pew.
All right.
The Leviathan's tooth is sitting on the same pew. I set that down next to you.
Oh, thanks. That was right kind of you.
All right. Anduriel, you wake up and Morocon is in the embrace on a bunch of pillows over here of some disgusting spider creature. And
you choose the weirdest mates, Dragon.
He looks like he's canoodling with her. There's definite canoodling going on.
What is going on? It's not my turn, right? I'm not.
No, not yet.
I'm just taking it all in. Dragon, what have you done?
All right.
I don't choose them; they choose me.
And whoops. She's big. She's not that big. All right. Morocon is over here. Odelia, you're over here. Odelia,
Over where?
you're over here down next to
Okay.
the other one. Oh, whoops. Not sure why that happened.
Super. Love it.
Her sister looks over at her and is absolutely horrified to see what her sister has become. So we're going to make her gray, and we're going to call her H for horrified. Okay? So Odelia, she is clinging to you, and she looks at her sister, who's turned into this spider creature, and she starts screaming. Just, ah! 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 And Morocon, it is your turn.
Are you going to do that too?
All right. I'll tell you on your turn, Odelia, I'll tell you what she says, but
Okay.
it may involve the F word and no.
Friend? Because we're friends now.
Yeah.
Not
Morocon, it is your
necessarily
turn, my
together.
friend. What do you want
It's
to do?
my turn.
You are
Okay,
prone,
well-
by the way.
Okay, well, I will first, as a first gut reaction, I will use a minor action to breathe fire into this spider's face.
Oh,
Huh.
I'm sure she'll like that.
I'm guessing that's going to be a hit. It's going to be a 26 against reflex.
That is going to hit.
Okay. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's a minor action. Woohoo! Full damage. So that'll be 10 fire damage.
All right.
And then for my action, I am going to, you know what? I'm going to Eagle Claw strike this spider lady because that is just not cool.
This is just unacceptable.
Right. Okay, so 16 plus 12, so 28 against Fortitude.
That'll hit.
No, that's a D12. I wish it was a D12, but it's not a D12. Okay. Ooh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's good. It's 29.
29 points of damage with Eagle Claw
Yeah.
Strike.
Yeah. So
Okay.
29 points of damage, and she takes a -4 to AC.
Oh.
Did you also
Okay.
Morocon, add your Stone Fist in?
Oh, Stone Fist. So +6 more damage.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Right.
You shouldn't forget it. That's
And then for my movement, I would like to not be prone.
You would like to? Are you telling me that you would like to get up?
Right. So she grabs a hold of me with her little spider legs, and I'm like, ah.
Okay.
Wham!
All right. To be sure, she doesn't enjoy that. So you blow fire into her face, and a lot of the fur that she has on her face goes up in flames, and she screams like, makes this horrible sound. But she's only kind of a hybrid human spider, and she's like halfway between an insect screech and a human yell. And she just recoils from you and looks like she's really unhappy. Now it would be her turn. And for her turn,
bugs are not my thing.
For
Take
her
care
turn,
of this.
she looks really unhappy, and she begins to grow in front of you, Morocon.
Oh, of course she does.
Like that. She becomes a large creature in front of you, Morocon, and she is going to use her horrifying transformation in a close burst 5, which is going to hit you and Thora. And I'm going to make a special DM's ruling here because she's a bug. Thora, I'm going to let you make a save to ignore this because it seems like the kind of thing that would be horrific to anyone else but your character. So roll the 1d20, please.
Oh, no. It fell off the table.
Roll it preferably to throw it.
That is a 10.
Okay, that's good enough. Morocon, you are immobilized and take a -2 to your defenses out of sheer terror at what she's become. She has transformed into a giant black widow, but her carapace is red and the widow symbol on her is black. And she chitters at you and skitters, just this enormous spider creature with mandibles and slime dripping off of them. And she looks like she's coming for you. She will stand up with her move action, and she has a -4 to AC, but not to attacks. She is going to use Silken Tomb on you, Morocon. What is your fortitude, Morocon?
-2.
Yes.
It's a 21.
All right. So she gets a total of 18. And here's what she tries to do. She reels up on her hind legs and she goes and spews from her spinnerets this just gout of web, and she backs at you with her front legs and tries to spin you into a cocoon.
Nice.
She tries, Morocon, but the 4 I rolled on the die means that she is unsuccessful.
Yes.
So she
Morocon
tries
gets
to spin
he gets
you.
rid of all the silkies because it's too icky. It's just,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not even like I was going to describe this artful monk thing, but I like yours better. You're like, get it off!
There's
Get
an
it off! Get it
occasional,
off!
like,
Get it off!
fear
Is there someone on
belch
my
of
back?
fire.
Is there something?
Bugs. And then Thor's over there like, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, Thora, for a
It's
minute,
natural.
you're like, oh, that's gross. And then you're like, how fascinating. And that is going to be her entire turn, unfortunately for her. Miss Odelia, I would like you to, if you would please, to make an insight check.
That's an 18.
You got her, Odelia.
Nice.
The little one, Odelia, goes to cling to you, and you see her arms begin to transform.
There it is.
There's the. How dare she?
And
It's not going to go well at all for her.
she's trying to play the poor innocent little girl routine, but you see right through it as you watch her arms start to like slowly transform around you. And what do you say to her?
I say, oh, I'm not falling for that act. And it's my turn right now, right?
It is in fact Thora's turn. Sorry, I just wanted to give you a reaction moment
sorry.
there. She is going
that's fine. I just wanted to-
she is going to take her attack, but she will not get any extra damage on you because you saw through the deception. So first, let me really quickly take her attack. She goes to use Widow's Surprise on you, and she gets a 26 versus AC. Does that hit?
Oh yeah, that.
Okay. Miss Odeliama, she does hit you. You take 24 points of damage as her razor-like legs stab into your back,
Ugh.
and ongoing poison damage 10 from the wound.
Do I take that right now as well?
No, you'll take that 10 when you start your turn.
Okay.
Something to look forward to.
Okay.
I don't like this
Ow.
place as
Her
a whole.
face contorts and 6 more eyes emerge from her forehead and her scalp as her hair falls away and fangs come out of her mouth, and she says, "Nothing personal, mommy," and stabs into your back. But before she can go any deeper, you grab onto the mandibles and keep them from penetrating deeper and avoid her sneak attack damage. And that is, and she gets up from a prone position. That is the whole of her turn. And now, Mr. Thora, it is your turn.
Ow. Well, with a minor action, knowing that Odelia is going next, Thora is going to cast Knack for Success, and choose Odelia as the target. You get a +2 power bonus to your next attack roll.
Me?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Is that a minor action?
Yep, that's a minor.
All right.
Can I move, or was I?
You were prone. Everyone was lying down, sleeping, or trying to sleep.
That's what I thought. In that case, yeah, he will stand up with his move action, and then for his main action, I'm going to cast Chill Wind, and hit the one on Odelia.
Okay.
And I'm going to slide it right 1 if I hit. Target Fortitude, Dirty 20.
That is not going to hit her fortitude, unfortunately. So Thora, you summon up this Arctic wind, and you're like, and it covers the spider and the pew in frost, and but it doesn't seem to be bothering her. It just doesn't penetrate her carapace. It's too thick there.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you are using your action point, that would be the end of your turn.
I mean, I have one more.
Everybody has one more. Remember, at Paragon level, you get 2.
Oh,
Okay. Until my next turn, everybody gets a +2 to all of their defenses. First off.
Okay, you're gonna use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
Sweet.
He's gonna do it.
And
you're cooler.
Orphan appreciates it.
The power I'm gonna use. Okay, with Big Lady, would I be able to do a Close Blast 3 and miss Morocon, or would I still probably graze him?
Well, she's a big girl now, so you could probably angle it to not hit Morocon, I would say.
I am going to do that then.
Okay.
We're gonna go with this one. Flowing Swarm. Oh no. Die, come back. I think that one will hit. That's a 26 total for Fortitude.
That is a hit.
Okay. Uh, 7 plus 7, 14 points of damage.
Oh, I don't think she likes that.
And since I hit, I can shift 4 squares inside the cone.
Okay.
Let's see. 1, 2. I'm going to shift up next to Marlcon.
Adjacent, right there.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, Thora, what does it look like when you explode with bugs and turn into them and move?
Oh, it's nasty boy hours. He has since he gave the cloak to the 2 girls for the night. So you guys get to see it without the cloak for once. And usually the cloak's the last thing to go, but you literally watch him just disassemble.
Yo, that's gross, man.
Disassemble.
It
All right.
is.
Oh,
So, no disassemble, Thora. Okay. So he disassembles into this pile of bugs, and it just envelops and overwhelms her to the point where she's batting at all these bugs with her legs and making these hissing, chittering noises that are really disturbing. And the bugs begin to swarm over and bite, and you hear pieces of chitinous crunch under all of these bugs, and cracks start to appear on her carapace. She's taken quite a bit of damage here. And that is Mr. Thora's turn. Everybody now
Morocon
has
is grossed out.
a minus. Yeah, Morocon, you got a
Okay.
buggy situation all around. Yeah.
Most people are.
Everyone has a +2 to defenses, right?
Yes.
Until the end of your next turn. All right.
Which brings me up to my normal defenses.
Alrighty. Unfortunately for Mr. Moro the Con. Save ends, Moro Con. All right. That is Thora. Odelia. She says, sorry about, mom makes the mommy joke. And you take 10 points of poison damage, but not quite, right?
Yes, that is correct. I only take 6.
Okay, Odelia, your armor begins to glow green as it absorbs some of the poison.
Okay. So Odelia, who's got her hands on the mandibles, is going to say, "I am not your mother," and cast Granite Shield.
All right.
Wait. No. Sorry. Great Shout.
Oh, great shout. All right. Give it to her. Give her the great shout.
Okay. That would be a 32.
That'll do. All of her defenses. Roll damage, Miss Tommy.
Oh Lord.
All right, let's see here. 10. So that is 25. And she, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite close enough. She takes a -2 to all her attacks till the end of my next turn.
All right.
The other one is just out of range of that.
All right, from your shout. All right. Odelia screams like, "I'm not your mother!" And some of the pews crack under the power of her voice as she stabs the harpoon right into Spider Girl, and drives her back a little bit. And she hisses and chitters at you, Odelia. Go ahead and make your save now, Odelia.
So I am also going to use the grasping harpoon on that one, so she is now grabbed, and I'm gonna pull her 1 square away from wherever Barrett is.
Okay. Barrett was sleeping on the other side, and he acts on your turn, and his turn is going to be to run this way. Okay, so Barrett runs away as you kind of slam the spider into the wall and scream at her, and Barrett goes, "Hit her with the wave! Hit her with the wave!" and goes running for his action. He double moves to run closer to the entrance.
Good boy right there.
Excuse me.
Good.
And that
Okay.
is Handsome
Then-
Barrett's turn.
And I'll push her closer to the group.
Okay.
When she's grabbed.
Excuse me. Does it let you push one or something?
Well, it says pulled one.
Okay, so pull one. Does it let you shift also?
It does not say.
Okay. All right, so she's pulled next to you and she's adjacent to you. We will go ahead. Now, do you have a minor action? Do you want to do anything else?
No, but my save for the save, I rolled a nat 20.
Okay, awesome. So no more ongoing poison damage. You don't want to cast Bless or anything, or use your healing power on you, anything like that?
Oh, actually, yes. Thank you, DM. I think I will cast Bless.
Just reminding everybody what their minor action possibilities are. Part of my job.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna. All of us get a +1 to all of our attacks.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, Odelia shouts out a quick prayer, and there is a sound of lightning striking, and a gentle rain begins falling in there. At first, you're like, "Oh, I'm wet," and then the water hits you, and you're like, "But I'm ready to party!" And now it is Anduriel's turn. Anduriel, you wake up in the middle of a chapel. Morokhan is making out with some spider creature, cheating on his wife, or almost cheating, and then she turns into some kind of a spider creature, which Thora identified as a red widow, and you're lying down on a pew.
Okay. Well,
You wanna go back
this is
to
actually
sleep?
better than the dancing dream. So
Okay.
let's roll with the monsters. I like that. So he's gonna stand up on the pew, because why
Okay.
get off it?
All
I want
right.
to have a good view. It looks like Morokhan and Thora are on Big Lady. Odelia is by herself. So Anduriel's going to attack with Searing Shadow on the whatever that is attacking Odelia.
On Baby Spider?
Baby Spider.
Okay.
This is versus Reflex. Ooh, that's an 18.
That's a hit.
Baby spider.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
All right.
Why are you doing that to us,
Ben?
Ben? Have I not been a good DM to you? Oh, it's probably because of the spider thing. Okay. All right. Fair. That's
So that is 16 points of damage.
all right. To Miss
And,
Baby Spider.
Yep, necrotic damage, and the target is blinded. Save ends.
Okay. Alrighty. Searing Shadow, and target is blinded. Alrighty. Okay, and that is Anduriel's turn. So you stand up, grab your holy symbol, and fling out this bolt of shadow, and it slams into her, and then it crawls up to her eyes, and she's like, you know, like that. And excuse me, that is Anduriel's turn. Anduriel, you also have a minor action. Anything else you want to do with it?
Not at the moment. No.
All right, back up to the top. Morokhan, you are up, my friend. Morokhan, you need to make a save versus the horrifying transformation on your last turn. I forgot to have you make a save.
Oh. Okay.
Oh no, wait. Sorry, she didn't do that,
What's that?
until her turn. My bad. At the end of this turn, you will make a save.
At the
Go ahead and
end
take
of
your
my
turn.
turn.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I will.
You
minor
can't move.
action.
You're immobilized with fear. Not that you want to.
Right. Not that. Right. Well, I will take a minor action to take the Fighting Fury stance.
Okay.
Ugh. Okay.
Make that
and
noise when
then
you take it like. "Ugh."
Fine.
He's really just wanted a good night's rest. That's all he wanted.
Want to go to sleep,
Um,
man.
And then I will. Oh, let's see. You know what? I'll do that. I will do sacred shielding. So my holy symbol flares and my fists start to glow, and I just try to do this Hadouken.
Okay, give it the Hadouken.
She has a -4 to her AC, and that's going to be a 25, 26 because of the bless, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
All right, you got her.
First AC. Woohoo!
With a
Right.
-4, you got her. You're not already adding the -4, are you?
No, she has a -4 to her AC.
Yes, so her AC to you is only 23.
Okay. So I got her then.
Okay.
And then that's going to be it's 18 damage. And Flora, you get resistance 2 to all damage.
Did you add
Thank
your
you.
stone fist?
Oh no, I didn't. My gosh. Okay. I didn't add my fighting fury either, so it's a total of 10 extra damage on top of that.
All right, so 26 points of damage total.
Right.
Alrighty.
Nice.
Okay. And so your fist goes on fire, and after breathing fire on her, you're like, oh, and there's more where that came from. Boom! Like, and you hit her with flaming fist, and she's like, at this point, she's maybe thinking that she should have hit on Thora instead. But part of him is metal, and there was less juicy on him than there was on you, unfortunately. But she's
Facts.
thinking maybe it would have been a better choice. Maybe a little Odelia morsel would have even been a little better. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm not a morsel.
Well, to her,
Do I-
to her, you are at this size. She's a big
Do I
girl
roll
now.
the save?
Yes, go ahead and make your save, Morocon. Okay, you are still immobilized with a -2 to your defenses. Desafortunadamente. All right. So that would be their turn again. All right. What is she gonna do? She already used her Silken Tomb, and she unfortunately does not have as much on that. I think she is going to use Spider Affinity. Soul Morokan. She sits back and makes a bunch of chittering noises. And as she does, a bunch of spiders begin crawling up out of the hole and moving towards you, my friend.
I should have saved my dragon breath.
And we'll go ahead, we'll make the spiders red too. And we're gonna make this kind text. That should work just fine. And Morocon and Thora, you guys are enveloped in this cloud or this just skittering of spiders. Anyone that starts their turn there is going to take 10 poison and grant combat advantage and have to make a melee basic attack against yourself to try to whack the spiders off of you. So that will happen on your turns, gentlemen. That is her turn. This one, Odelia, she is going to take the shift action and shift 1 square away from you. So she goes skittering back over the pews right here and shifts away from you. Odelia, the other one cannot see, which is kind of a bad thing for her. So she is going to shift back 1 square, and she is going to spit out a web jet at you. And she's not going to have much chance of hitting you. She only has a +9 to hit with being blinded. So she's going against your reflex. Oh!
No.
Okay.
No.
I rolled a nat 20, but here's the deal. It's not a damaging attack, so it can't crit you and kill you. But Odelia, she nails you with this line of wedding. So she shakes the shadow off her head, and finally she skitters back one square and just goes like a machine gun. And it fills your mouth, Odelia. It hits you in the face. I mean, it pins you, and you're like, oh my, it's everywhere. It's like, it's in my underwear. Like, it's just and it's like sand, and you are covered in web, Odelia, and you are knocked prone. And she swings you on this line of web and moves you 1, 2, 3 squares closer to the hole, and you are restrained, Odelia. Until you save, you are restrained and you are knocked prone. So you are somewhat.
Don't forget, she's grabbed by me in case that helps.
A forced movement breaks a grab, unfortunately, which is poopy, but it does. So Odelia, you are restrained, which I will have to remember for the next time. And will go like that. All right, and that is all of their turn that they can do. And with her minor action, she is going to transform into a big girl.
Darn it.
I'm a big kid now.
So she transforms. Odelia and Anduriel, you are in the area of her horrifying transformation. So unfortunately, you are both horrified as you watch her legs, her human legs, split apart and bones crack and reform, and 10 eyes, and all that yucky stuff. And she transforms into a giant spider in front of you. And you are both immobilized and have a -2 defenses until you save. And now it would be Thora's turn.
All right. I have a quick question for Matt.
Yes.
Is it true we have 2 healing words a day, or am I remembering that wrong?
You only have 1 healing word. Yours is a daily, isn't it? Isn't it under your daily? Okay.
Yeah.
So your healing word.
For some reason, I thought maybe we got 2 a day. I don't know.
You
why.
do if you are a full cleric, but you just multi-classed with the power.
Got it. Okay.
Which I'm sure Morocon appreciates the surges. He's gonna need them.
Yeah.
So Thora, you unfortunately take 10 poison damage.
That's fine.
And you're gonna have to make a melee basic attack against yourself.
You actually only take 8 poison damage because you have resistance 2.
True. Oh my god, I literally rolled my AC.
Oh.
All right. Go ahead and roll melee basic damage against yourself as you whack yourself with your staff.
A 1!
Hey.
Nice. So I take 4 more points, -2, so 2.
All right, so Thora, you're like, and then you accidentally go like thunk, and you poke yourself in the eye with your staff, trying to get spiders off of you.
Yeah. That's not my action though, is it? That's just like an effect? Okay.
That's just an effect. Now you have your turn, my friend.
Cool. Does Thora do the stupid thing? I mean, he is played by me.
I don't know. Does he do the stupid thing?
I think the answer is yes. Based on what I just said. No, we're gonna play smart. Okay, Thora is going to... Would I provoke an attack of opportunity if I went to E6?
Here's the deal. She is a large creature and she has reach, which means that she can hit you with 2 squares away. So unfortunately, If you move anywhere but shift, she's going to take an attack of opportunity.
All right. Well, in that case, Thora's gonna stay where he is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Actually, this one works perfectly.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Devouring Beetles. Close blast 3 at Big Lady.
That'll do. Give her a hit.
Another 27.
That hits everything.
Sweet. I had to. Did you like how I had to re-add the bless? Like I was like another 26. Wait, I have a +1, 27.
Don't forget to count it. It makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay, 2d6. That is 15 points of damage. She's going to slide as many squares as it takes to get her right back in front of Marokon. You have combat advantage against her, and she has vulnerability 5.
Ooh. Alrighty. And describe what it looks like.
The bugs that are already kind of swarming all around her just begin shoving her in one direction. And as they do, they kind of shift her so that a vulnerable part is aimed at Marokon.
That's cool.
As my minor, I'm gonna produce a seed of healing.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty. So Thora, it's really kind of gross. Your beetles were already all over her, right? And she was like batting at them, and they were biting into her. And then it's almost like they just come up again in a wave. She's like, so she skitters up against the wall, hence the slide effect, and does leave herself exposed to Morocon. Unfortunately, it's Odelia's turn.
That's okay.
Odelia, you are restrained, my sister, which means you cannot leave your square, and you have a -2 to AC.
All right.
All right, you also take a -2 to attacks, unfortunately. You are all caught up in some web until you save.
Okay, I am going to. I'm gonna cast Earth Endurance.
Okay.
And it's a melee attack.
She is unfortunately out of your reach.
Oh, I thought we were right together. So sorry. Oh yeah, I see where we are. Okay, never mind. So I can't move out of my square. I can't do that. Can I just try and get out of this?
Well, at the end of your turn, you can make a save to get out of it.
Okay, I'm gonna try and huck my harpoon at her then.
All right, go for it. Make a melee basic.
Come on, baby. Oh, that is an 18.
Okay, unfortunately, your harpoon, the grabbing one, it goes tink right off her carapace and just drops to the floor. And that's
all I got.
That's all she wrote. Unless you want to do something with your move or your minor.
Well, I can't move.
No, but you still have a move action. You just can't leave your square.
Does she get to save?
At the end of her turn, yeah.
What can I do with a move action if I can't leave my square?
Anything that you can do with a minor action. So you could use it to cast Bless, something like Bless.
Well, I've already cast Bless.
You can use it to cast Healing Word. You can use it to do anything but a minor action.
I've already used all my minor actions.
Okay.
So can
all right, then go ahead and make your save.
Are there any modifiers to it?
Not that I am aware of. No. It's just a one die 20. It's 10 or higher.
17.
Okay,
17.
Adelia, you rip the webs off of you in a mighty barbarian roar. You're like, Hulk smash! And you rip the webs off of you. And she kind of, when you do that, she's like, oh, damn. Like, and like she skitters back a little bit as the tiny Avenger rips out, bringing your turn to the end. But at least you're no longer restrained. Anduriel, my friend, you, like Odelia, Odelia, I need you to make a save versus her horrifying transformation, too. Let's see if you're shaken with fear still. No?
That is, 11.
All right, you shake it off. All right, so you shake it in a great roar. You shake it off. You're like, no, baby, no. You shake both of them off. Anduriel, it is your turn, my friend. You are immobilized with fear, but you still have your turn.
Can I teleport with Shadow Leap if I'm immobilized with fear?
You absolutely can.
I think I shall.
Okay.
I'm going to use Shadow Leap, and I'm going to teleport into baby Spider's shadow.
Okay.
And then I think it's Taste of Lifetime.
Nice.
Take a
Gross.
bite out of crime. So this is versus Fortitude, and this is a melee attack. And it's my first one against this individual, so I get greater advantage as well.
Okay.
Ooh, did not need it. Well, maybe I did. 17. No, 28.
That's a hit, but it's actually 30, because she's blinded and you have a +2 to attacks.
Yes.
And it's actually 31 because of bless.
Super yes.
You
Okay.
totally hit. You can hit her
I got
anywhere
it.
you want to. You can hit her. You can hit her spinneret if you want to. You're like, poke.
All right, so let me roll damage real quick here. And while I'm doing this, it's been a little bit of a he's a little parched from that nap he took, so we're gonna do Blood Drinker.
Oh, all right. Ooh, okay then. It's
Gonna add a little extra spice. So that's 8, 15. That is 26 points of damage.
okay then. Alrighty, Anduriel, you kind of become a shadow, and you leap into her shadow, and teleport next. You jump out of her shadow, and teleport next to her. So you fall back into your own shadow, and then come up out of hers, grab onto one of her legs, and yank her close, and you sink your fangs into the soft part above her carapace. And you start slurping out some kind of fluid. Who knows what it is? And it's nasty. I mean, it doesn't take. It's like dog. You're like eating wet dog. Like you're like, oh, but
Yeah.
you do gain a healing surge from it. So you have 3 now. Excuse me. And anything you want to do with your minor action?
Not at this time.
All right. Well, if that is the case, my friend, then that brings us to the end of our combat round, and it also brings us to the end of our partay for this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will resume on Morrokan's turn. Taking a lot of notes. There's a whole lot of stuff. There's a bless. There's fighting fury. On the plus side, you guys saved against all of the yucky things, so I don't have to keep track. Except for what, Morrokan?
Except for me.
Except for you. You unfortunately are still scared, right? You can't move.
Yeah, I'm still immobilized.
Okay.
Well, you were the closest to it when it happened. I can see you being a little bit more scared.
Well,
Yeah.
and she was coming up on you. Hopefully that won't be too frightening an experience. And hopefully, Madrigal doesn't find out, because I don't know. Something tells me she's the jealous kind.
Yeah, Morrokan's a little traumatized by the events of the evening.
I think that's fair. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the night. And I believe, Benjamin, we always like to end our stream with an inspirational thought. Sometimes it's a quote. Sometimes it's just a nice thought. Sometimes it's a scripture. So you're welcome. Those of you who might be with us, you're welcome to stick around and listen to it. If that's not your cup of tea, go ahead and turn off the stream now, and we thank you for joining us. But Ben, the floor is yours.
Okay. So it's a really brief thought, but basically it's the thought of it's. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but particularly over the last like year or so, it feels like gravity has just been a little bit stronger. Like everything feels a little heavier. It's just things are a little bit more difficult than they used to be. And so basically my thought for tonight is, you know, we're all in the same boat. We're all in this together. And even though we may be, even though the logs on the raft are starting to get soggy and weighing down, we're all lashed together. And so we're still able to stay buoyant. And as long as we can remember that and we can lean on each other whenever we need a little bit of help, we're all waterlogged, we're all heavy, but we can stay buoyant as long as we stay together. There's
like
not
it.
a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of seafaring info that I actually know, but I do know that a log by itself will sink, but if they're lashed together, they will stay afloat.
Oh, that's a wonderful thought. I like that. Teamwork, stick together and support each other. Any other thoughts to accompany?
I mean, I hate to bring it back to the game that I'm currently obsessed with, Final Fantasy 14, but it's actually like a perfect metaphor for that game. MMOs, you need to have party members, you need to have friends, you need to have a team to take out the bosses. So like every single person carries a little bit of weight, and you can defeat like anything. You can conquer anything.
But if you walk in the dungeon without a healer, John, what happens?
You die.
You're going
I
to
know
die.
that for a
Everybody's going to
fact.
die fast. Very good. Other thoughts to accompany?
I'm reminded of so as John goes back to Final Fantasy, I frequently go to Harry Potter. Um, there's that scene where Luna Lovegood is talking to Harry, and he's talking. You know, she mentions, you know, that's how I would do it. If I was Voldemort, I would want you to feel isolated, and I would want you to feel alone. And I think you know, Ben and John are talking about this really important and really powerful, simple thing that you're not alone, and it's really important that you know you're not alone. There are people there to support you, to provide that support, because when you know that, then no matter how bad of a day you're having, it's not all you. There's a support system around you. And so don't let yourself think you're alone. We're all in this together, like Ben said.
Heck yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Totally agree.
I had something that popped into my head when we were talking about that. I use the phrase often, finding your people, because I think for a lot of people, it can be a challenging thing to find your people, especially if your people are not the usual. You know, if you have different interests, you know, than other people do. And for those of us who are kind of geeky, nerdy fans of things, that can be challenging, because for a long time, everybody kept that quiet. Like when, you know, all the five of us are a little bit older. And when we were growing up, it was not cool to be a geek, right? Very much so in a lot of different ways. And unless you were immersed in other fandoms, I think you could be, you know, cut off or isolated. And I think my thought that accompanies is that sometimes to find your people, you got to put yourself out there, and you have to take a risk, and it's hard, especially for kids. And I don't think a lot of kids watch our stream. It would be nice if they did, but I don't think we have a ton. But I think for all of us, no matter how old you are, it applies. I have known JT the longest here, and we both kind of took a risk. We were like 35, I think, or something, or 36, and we kind of already had our friend groups, and we both took a risk by becoming friends, and then we became best friends. And and it was all about a risk, and it all started because JT asked me to sing with him in a quartet in church, and
Nice.
and then several hundred BYU games later, multiple D&D sessions, a whole lot of Slurpees, and various other things, and JT introduced me to Ben, and then it went from Ben doing some artwork for us to, hey Ben, do you want to play with us? And Ben, now I consider Ben to be a very good friend of mine. John was a fan of the show, and and he was, I think, John, you were our first guest star, weren't you?
I was the first guest star, and I was, and I quote, our first listener.
Yes, yeah, our first listener. And
Because
so
I watched you back when you did the recap show.
yeah, that's back when I was doing the waffle press for Dice Camera Action, because I loved it so much. And anyway, so sometimes it requires taking a risk and going outside your comfort zone. But the funny thing that has blown my mind always is JT and I lived next to each other for years. My best friend and brother was around the corner from me, and I had no idea. And so I wonder what the world would be like if we kind of invested in each other more and reached out a little bit more. It required, sometimes you get hurt, but anyway, I think that's how we come together and become the logs that are tied together. Just a nice thought. So forgive me babbling on, but that brings us to an end. And thank you, everybody who might have joined in on this. Poinketh, we can't wait to hear what you have to say. We'll have the episode up as soon as we can. And thanks so much, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Find your breakfast club.
Yes.
Everybody.
Bye, guys.